I must share with you an incredible explanation from the Vilna Gaon. We know that Klal Yisrael has been persecuted for thousands of years. The Chorban Abayis, Rishon, Sheni, the Inquisitions, the pogroms, the Crusades, the Holocaust. Millions and millions of Jews have been killed. Blood has been spilled like water for thousands and thousands of years. And when we think about it, the first thing that comes to mind is it's much too much. It's much too much. They've gone way too far. They've gone way too far. But the Gra tells us something very different. The Gra in Shir Hashirim, it's Perek Beis, Pasuk Tes, and the Pasuk Hishpati Eschem Benos Yerushalayim, B'tzvakos Ayolos Asada. Says the Gra that there were 3 shvuos. The Gemara in Ksubas tells us there were 3 shvuos made, Klal Yisrael and the Umas Olam. And one to the Umas Olam was that you shouldn't be mamaya the case. You shouldn't bring the Gula too quickly by over persecuting the Jewish people. Right? If there's too much Inoy all at once, if there's too much persecution all at once, then the Gula will come right away. And says the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Klal Yisrael, right? Yishpati Esem Benos Yerushalayim. Says the Gra, Benos Yerushalayim refers to the Umas Olam, to the nations of the world. They shouldn't over persecute. They shouldn't be too intense, the persecution, because then the Gula will come right away. Says the Gra. And there's a remiss here, there's a hint in the words of the Pasuk. It says, but Svakos Abayelos Atzad. It says the Gra, there's 2 types of animals. There are deer and there are rams. The deer run very fast. Yeah, but they don't have tremendous strength. The rams don't go as fast, but they have tremendous strength with their back hind legs. Says the Gra, these are talking about 2 types of persecution. Persecution which is straight, one after the other. Inoy, one persecution, another persecution, but it's not so intense. That's Svakos, those are the Tzvi. And the Ayolos Asada are the intense persecutions, but there's a little bit of a break in between. These are the 2 persecutions that the Pasuk is talking about. And says the Gra, explains the Gra, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a shvua, swear to him, that they would not over persecute. The persecution would not be overly intense, and in that way the Gula would come slower in time. And why is that? Says the Gra, an incredible idea here. Hashem wants the Ava of Klal Yisrael, the love of Klal Yisrael, to be self-generated, not because out of pure desperation, because we have no hope except to turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It means the mashal of a melech that made us an oath to just throw a rock on a heavy rock boulder on whoever disobeyed his will. And it happened that his son was the one who disobeyed him. And how did he accomplish this? Not to be over his shore, not to violate his oath. He accomplished this by breaking the stone into thousands, if not millions of pieces. And this is what Hashem is doing to the Jewish people. He's giving us persecution one after the other, some heavy and some lighter, but it's in dosages, right? If we were to get everything all at once, if possibly we could survive this, then the Gula would come right away. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want the Gula to come right away. Hashem wants the Gula to come slowly, piece after piece, persecution after persecution. We should come back with love to Hashem. The Gula should come because of self-generated love that the Jewish people have for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and not out of sheer desperation because we have no other hope except for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's good to reach that recognition. It's important to reach that recognition, but it should come from love and not from desperation. It should come from a thought after the persecution. We should think, why did Hashem persecute us? Right? Hashem brings persecution to the Jewish people, but then He brings them back and He shows love and concern and kindness. And there's the 7 weeks that we're in now, Shabbos Nachamu. We had the 3 weeks of Haftarahs about the destruction, and now we have 7 weeks of Nachamu, of consolation. And the consolation after the sorrows is that the whole reason that Hashem brought these sorrows on the Jewish people is to get them to come back in love. Hashem doesn't want the Goyim to do more persecution. It's hard to fathom how 6 million Jews being killed in the Holocaust, that was not over persecution. How the Gemara talks about millions and millions of people dying by Shasta Chorban Bias. Right? And we know in the Crusades and the pogroms, right, in the Inquisitions, we know how many people were killed. All of that, says the Gemara, that's not over persecution. Over persecution would mean that the Gula would come right away. There would be so much Inoi that HaKadosh Baruch Hu would have to bring the Gula, perhaps because otherwise it would signify the end of the Jewish people. So let's take this to heart. All of the suffering that we've had from the persecution the Jewish people have endured over the past few thousand years, right? To realize it's all to generate love. It's all to bring us back to Hashem. It's been sliced up and broken down like the rock, like the heavy boulder that was supposed to be thrown in the king's son. Kadosh Baruch has broken it down over a few thousand years instead of bringing it all at once. In order to get us to come back in pure love to Kadosh Baruch Hu, we should be zoche to open up our hearts, especially during the month of El, Anila, Doidi, Vidodili, open up our hearts and show pure love to Kadosh Baruch Hu amongst all the difficulties and persecution we've had. 6 million Jews being killed, and then the Holocaust, the Inquisition, the Crusades, the destruction of the Bayis Rishon, Bayis Sheni, all this is spread over 3,000 years in order that we should come back to Hashem in pure love. Let's take this to heart, the words of the Vilna Gaon, and as much love as possible. As the Halacha tells us, when we say Shema, we say the word V'ahavta, fill your heart with love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. After you realize Hashem Echad, Shema Yisrael Hashem Echad, Hashem Echad, the next thing we're instructed to do is V'ahavta. And the Mishnah Berurah Paskins, fill your heart up with love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Realize how much He loved us. Every single thing that happens to us is a revelation of His infinite chesed. We should come to this recognition quickly. Amen. Kain Tzara.